next we're at the next section, which is about patient transportation. First of all, the number one safety measure when using a wheelchair is to make sure that before someone sits down, that the brake is on, because you don't want someone to sit down and the chair going to move. This particular chair is called a Staxi chair, and the brake is always on. If you want to take the brakes off, you have to squeeze this together. So when somebody sits down, you want to make sure that it's in this position, not this one, because if they were to sit down and you have it like this, the chair could move and someone could fall. Okay? Number one safety measure. Again, if you understand that, you're going to circle a 1. Got this upside down. All right. Next, it says that we're going to demonstrate how a patient should enter the wheelchair. So with this particular chair, because the distance from the front to the back is a good distance, to sit down like this is kind of scary, especially if somebody's unsteady on their feet. So how you'd want to sit in one of these type of chairs is to raise the arm, you'd sit down, have the patient sit down like this, and then rotate around. The footrests on this one are down here. You can lift those to make it easier for the patient. On a regular wheelchair, the brakes are going to be at the side of the wheels, and so you're going to make sure that the brakes are on those type of wheelchairs before somebody sits down, and they can enter from the front. Once you have somebody sitting in a wheelchair, you want to make sure you instruct them to not get up while the chair is moving, and you never want to leave somebody unattended in a chair. We don't want to leave them and then decide we need to go get our snack from the cafeteria. That would not be a great idea. You want to go slowly over bumps, and when you're going through doorways sometimes or into the elevator, it may be easier to, instead of pushing a patient over a bump or pushing them into the elevator, if you turn the chair around and you backed them in, that is going to be the most pleasant for our patient. The one thing that I want to stress to you as volunteers is to make sure that you keep yourself safe as well as our patients. So if you have any kind of concerns about moving a patient, if you feel you go up to get a patient to discharge and they're not able to move from the bed to the chair without a lot of assistance, we don't want to put the patient in danger, and we don't want to put you in danger or at risk of hurting yourself. So you always need to ask for help if you have some questions about the patient's mobility. If you feel that you go up to get a patient and that person is beyond your capability, whether it be size or diagnosis of being able to move them, I don't want you to communicate that to the patient. We would never want to say to the patient, "I'm sorry, but you're too large, I can't move you." That wouldn't be good, right? It would not be good customer service. But you would want to just let the patient know that you're a volunteer and it's your job to keep them safe, and that in order to do so, you're going to go ask the nurse for help. All right, the two last additional items under patient transportation are that you want to make sure you never transport a patient in a parking deck, out to the parking lot, anywhere other than the front entrance or one of the outside entrances. Policy states that volunteers are not to go into those other areas, and that is for your safety. But patients, when they're being discharged from the hospital, should be discharged at the front doors. A family member or someone who is taking them home should be able to drive up, and you should be able to take them to that point. You always want to make sure you're discharging the right patient. So make sure you look at an armband. Make sure when you're called to discharge a patient that you tell the nurses station that you're taking that patient out. And you always want to know where things are in the facility, because that makes it a whole lot easier to do patient transportation if you know where things are in the facility. All right, so now I'm going to show you the proper way that after you transport a patient, you can disinfect a wheelchair. Okay, we're here with two of my very favorite volunteers. They're going to demonstrate how to clean a wheelchair properly.